All right, I have not done a video in a long time, which you guys know why. Coronavirus, murder hornets, the whole bit. So I figured what I would show you is what I've been working on while I have not been approved to do any work. I built a greenhouse, and I did it all out of reclaimed items. Some windows I had that I had previously installed new ones on a house, and I kept the old ones. So I turned them into a greenhouse. I'm going to show you how I did it, and maybe it's something you would like to do. As you can see, I have kind of a traditional garden going here. Some things have sprouted a little bit, mostly kale and lettuce and beets. But this is the greenhouse that I made out of reclaimed windows. I just built this door, used standard hinges. You can see in here. The roof is old inserts from screen doors. I just propped them up with an old fence that I had demoed. I had all these materials here from old jobs that I had done. So what I did is I took the windows from the house. These are sliders. A couple double hungs there. They are vinyl, and I just constructed it with old timbers. I had some landscape timbers, and then 4x4s that I put in the ground. You don't really have to observe the 42 inches down for the frost line with this. I actually started the frame of this a few years ago and then just built the frame around the size windows that I was able to reclaim. What I really wish I had had were some sliding glass doors. Then I could have had the roof be 6'8". But it didn't happen. Windows is what I had, and it cost me absolutely nothing. So I have a starting area back there. You can see where I had the seeds started. I have a PVC pipe back there that I'm using just as kind of an experiment, see if I can grow things. And it's working pretty good. I don't love it. These are just raised planters. The floor is just an old, concrete walkway block that we had, patio paver. But you can see in here I have varieties of lettuce that started about 6 weeks ago, spinach, some pak choi, some more lettuce, broccoli. It stays about 60-70 degrees in here. If it gets too hot, I can always open up the windows, which is why I like having the windows. That's pretty fantastic. The bug screens were intact. I only had to repair 2 of them. And I can get some air flowing in here. I also have a stick that can vent one of the windows. I put it on a hinge. You can see there, if it's really hot. So far the hottest day we've had was about 80 degrees. And it got really hot in here. I did have to vent it, but it's nice to have that option. You can see I have potatoes started down here. I'm going to transfer them outside. Like I say, the hottest day we've had was 80, but today it's about 45 degrees, and it will be 26 degrees on Friday night. So lovely Michigan weather. I have my pond plants in here just to keep them warm. Some water hyacinth and some water lettuce. And again, that was just to keep them warm. I don't want them to freeze because they take a long time to order. But you can see that is what I did. And then the outside, I had some old siding. Go through the door here again. Had some old siding. I'll show you what the outside of the roof looked like. And I just lapped them like it would be any kind of cedar shake, but it's, glass window. I like this too because if I want to put a panel over for shade, if it gets really hot in June and July, which it can get hot in Michigan, believe it or not, even though it'll probably snow on Friday here and it's almost the middle of May. I have that option. I can kind of shade it and just open up the windows or transplant things I like it because I have spinach that's just about ready if I want to do, you know, kind of the baby spinach salads. That can start here in about another week. Out here, I made some makeshift greenhouses for some things I wanted outside. Like I said, it got a little cooler, but this is just plastic, and then I used PEX tubing and made kind of a framework for that. And you can see the plants are really loving it in here. And there's the PEX tubing. I just tied it together with zip ties, and it stays pretty toasty in here. Yesterday I actually had steam coming out because it was sunny, and I had to open it up for a little bit to let the plants breathe. And then the smaller side, I have more lettuce. Get a picture of that. You can see. To the side of all that, I have my peas and my beans. You can see they're doing well. But like I say, we're going to have frost warnings here for at least the next week, which is really disappointing. But it is what it is in Michigan. You can see that I actually put a sprinkler system in there, and it works really well. It's an old mist system that we were going to install for the front of the house. Never got around to it. I just ran it through, drilled a 5/8 inch hole, and it attaches to your garden hose there. And it only takes me about 5 minutes to water everything in the morning. I just hook it up there. And out here in the traditional garden, I'll have to be covering that with some of that fabric. It's just old weed fabric, but that'll keep the frost off of it. You want to make kind of a tent so that as the frost does settle, because when it's 26 degrees on Friday, it will settle. You don't want it to ever touch the leaves of the plant. And then when it warms up, I uncover it, and they are protected. I have watermelon over here, some eggplant that has come up. Here's some butternut squash that's coming up. The corn has not come up yet, but I just planted it. Here's some sunflowers. You want to make sure when you plant things next to each other that they go together. Tomatoes take up a lot of nutrients. Sunflowers take up a lot of nutrients, and when they get tall, they can actually shade your other plants. So I actually went by a planting guideline of what plants get along together and what plants can actually grow next to one another before I planted these, so that nothing is choking anything else out. Then one of the other genius ideas that actually Ethan came up with, he's 5 years old. He was worried about the rabbits being able to get in, so we planted them their own garden. This is going to be lettuce coming up. There'll be some kale over here, because in the past the rabbits and the woodchucks have absolutely destroyed our gardens. I do have some rabbit fence up. I have some more on order. Thank goodness for Amazon in the time of coronavirus. So the next video I'll make will be about what I've been doing in my my pond for my koi.